Hey guys, today is Monday, May 4th. I wish, like anything, we were together in our little room 8103 instead of doing it this way online. But thank you for working hard, for continuing to show up every day here. This isn't my favorite way, but we're all surviving, and I appreciate your dedication. Couple announcements. Today is our first day of GED testing. It is happening on campus right now. Um, really want to stress to you, if you had signed up before the quarantine and your date was canceled, remember, get online right away and reschedule. There are not very many slots open. We are testing Monday through Thursday on campus, twice a day, and only 6 slots per time. So when you do the math, that is not very many test positions open, and that is for the whole county. That is not just ALCO students. That is anybody in the county, whether they've gone to our school or not. So please understand the importance of getting signed up. Also, summer school. This is the beginning of the announcements. There will be a lot more information and a link I'll be sending out, maybe even today. Right now, things for you to know. It is $30 for returning students, so that would be you. It is 6 weeks long. It runs only Monday through Thursday every week. So there's 3 weeks in June, 3 weeks in July. At the moment, the 3 weeks in June will be online like we are right now. The hope and prayer is the 3 weeks in July will be back on campus. So I'll keep giving you more details on that. All right, I'm going to go over 2 questions that were missed a lot last week. They came off of the Wednesday quiz. That was all about percents. So the first one is Shay's car is $22,000 that she's going to buy. I didn't write it word for word. The question, she puts 20% down and she agrees to pay it off in 3 years. What's her monthly payment? Okay, so the first thing I need to figure out is how much she put down. So I want to figure out what 20% of 22,000 is. So 22,000 times 0.20 equals 4,400. So she put 4,400 down. So I'm going to put 22,000. Remember, down payments are taken off of the total amount owed, so that way we don't have to pay that 4,400 again. We take it away. So for her to drive off the lot, she gave them a check for 4,400. So she doesn't owe them 22,000 anymore. She owes them 22,000 minus 4,400. And what we get is that she owes 17,600. That's how much she owes. Now, she's agreeing to pay it over a 3-year period. What's her monthly payment? So what I need to do is figure out how many months are in 3 years. So 3 times 12 is 36. So she's going to pay the 17,600 in 36 months. So I'm going to take this amount and divide by 36, and that will give me her monthly payment. And I thought it would be still, there it is. So I'm going to divide by 36, and that gives me her monthly payment. Her monthly payment is $488.89. So if you remember, that was one of the options on the quiz. That was the answer you should have picked for that question. Okay, one more question that we're going to do that was missed a lot was my artwork. Okay, so notice right here in the question, what percent decrease is my new price? If you see what percent increase or what percent decrease, we need to use this formula. Difference in price divided by original times by 100. Now let me just stress to you, this is not going to be on the formula sheet for the GED. This is one you're just going to have to know on your own. This is not on the formula sheet. All right, so difference in price. Well, I was started at 25, and I don't know why, but nobody was buying my artwork. So I had to lower my price. So I lowered it to $13.75. So I've got to figure out the difference. Difference I need to subtract. I need to take my 25 and subtract my 13.75. I get 11.25. So my difference in price is 11.25 divided by my original. My original was $25. Oops, sorry. So I take my 11.25, I divide by 25, and I get 0.45. Did you see that? I kind of moved that fast. I get 0.45. Now, my formula says times it by 100, which is true, but all I really have to do is move my decimal 2 times. It's the same thing as timesing by 100, and I find out that I have decreased my price by 45%. Now, what I found is a lot of people, when doing the quiz, they wrote 55%. I'm not exactly sure what they did to get there, but it was 45%. Okay, so if you're not taking notes yet, please do. You're going to need to. You can either take a screenshot of this, or you can copy this down, press pause and copy this down. We're going to need to have this for today. Okay, so what we're actually doing is called algebraic expressions and variables. This is my least favorite thing in the world to teach. Not even going to lie about this. Okay, so we're going to get through it. So a couple key words you need to know. Product. Product is the answer of multiplication question. So if I say 4 times 2 is 8, 8 is the product. Okay, it's the answer in a multiplication question. Quotient is the answer of a division question. So if I say 6 divided by 3 is 2, the quotient is 2. So maybe that'll help you kind of remember it. Let me write that down. So my quotient is 2. And if I say something like 4 times 2 is 8, my product is 8. All right. Keywords. When we see more, we add. When we see less, we subtract. When we see times, we multiply. Here, another key thing, a number. Anytime you see a number, we're going to call it X, okay? If you didn't write that down, pause, write all that down, or take a screenshot. Okay, here we go. So if you have something that says 4 more than a number, okay, so more I know is add, than a number, remember, oops, I put my paper on the floor. Remember, a number is X. So 4 more than a number. So 4 plus X. Now, seems like, okay, I got it. But the next one, you have to change the order. In fact, let me give you a minute. This is 4 more than a number. I want you to try these last two. Press pause, and I'll see you back here in a minute. Okay, so we know less from our chart is subtraction. A number is X, but we have to be careful. 5, if we wrote it like this, it would look similar to this, but that's saying 5 minus X. What this says is 5 is less than a number. The number is X. 5 is less than it, so it needs to be over here. So it's X minus 5. Ugh, see why this is like not my favorite thing to teach. 3 times a number. A number is X. Times, we know, is multiplication. All we're going to do is put the 3 next to it, because remember when, when they're butt up against each other, it means multiplication. So 3x means 3 times x, okay? If you need to, press pause and let that soak in for a minute. Okay, a number times itself. So let's take a moment and think what that really means. Let's say the number is 5. If I times it by itself, I'm going to times it by another 5. So I've got 5 times 5, which is the same as 5 squared because I have 2 5s, which we know is 25. So a number means we don't know, so remember we call it X. A number times itself would be X times X, or X squared. Give yourself a second to think about that. All right, I keep dropping everything in here. Oh my gosh, I'm just klutzy today. Give me a second, I dropped my marker. Okay, the product of 8 and a number. Okay, so I know product is multiplication. And it's the answer of 8 and a number. I know a number is x. A product of 8, meaning the answer is 8 and a number. 8x. 8 times x. Okay. I think I have 2 more. 3 more. The product of 6 and x added to the difference between 5 and x. Okay. First off, the product of 6 and x. If I times those together, that's what that means. If I times those together, I get 6x. Added, so plus, to the difference between 5 and x. Okay, remember, let me find my paper here a minute ago. Remember when we did 5 less than a number? It's going to look like that. The difference of 5 and x. Difference we know we subtract. So 5 and x. And that's what we have. Okay, the quotient of 6 and x. Okay, so quotient, we know that it's a division. So we're going to divide the quotient of 6 and x. 6 divided by x gives you this answer. And 1/3 of a number increased by 5, I'm sorry. Okay, 1/3 of a number, we know of a number means x. Increased, we know means plus, by 5. 1/3 x plus 5. All right, so here we go. Carol is 4 times her sister's age. Which expression represents Carol's age? Okay. Okay, Carol is 4 times her sister's age. So we've got Carol, we've got her sister, and Carol is 4 times her sister's age, so 4x. Then if her sister is 3, how old is Carol? So now we know what the x is. The x is 3. So Carol is 12. I left a tip on the bill that was 1/5 of the bill plus 3. How much was the tip? Press pause and try this and just see how you would write it. You're not going to get a total amount. You're not going to get like, actually, yeah, you are. I'm sorry. I can't read through my phone. Okay. How much, if the bill was $60, I didn't see that. If the bill was $60, how much was the tip? Give it a shot. I'll see you back here in a minute. Okay, so the first thing we had to do was write it out. So 1/5 of the bill plus 3. So 1/5 x plus 3. So we know the bill is 60. So I want to come over here and say 1/5 times 60 plus 3. So what I'm really doing here is I'm taking 60 and dividing by 5. Mathematically, here's what we're really doing. We're saying 1/5 times 60 over 1. Remember, in fraction land, you could multiply straight across or reduce. Let's do it this way for this time. So I'd get 60 over 5, and all I really need to do is take my calculator, or maybe you know it, and say 60 divided by 5, and that's going to give me 12. So really, back here, all we were doing was saying 60 divided by 5 is 12. So I have 12 plus 3 is 15. So when you get 1/5 of a number, you're taking that number and dividing by 5. Since it's only 1, that's all we have to do. If this would have been 2/5, we would have taken this 60 divided by 5, and then whatever the answer is, which was 12, we would have turned around and times by 2. If it was 3/5, we would have divided 60 by 5, got 12, and then times by 3 and got 36, okay? But it was really 1/5. Okay. The number of ESOL students at ALCO is 50 less than 2 times the GED students. What expression? Notice it says expression. I don't need to come up with an answer. I just need to write how this would be written. The expression. It's not going to be the number 7. This was an equation. We got an actual amount. This is an expression. So go ahead and give it a shot, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, the number of ESOL students at ALCO is 50 less than 2 times the GED students. So ESOL students is 50 less than 2 times the GED students. So 2x minus 50 is how I would write that. Okay? This one, the cost of coffee is 3 times the cost of donuts decreased by 2. If a donut costs $2, how much does the coffee cost? Okay, the cost of coffee is 3 times this number, minus decreased by $2. So whatever the donut is, you times it by 3, and then you subtract 2. Oh, well, hey, I now know the cost of the donut, so I can put that right here. So 3 times 2 is 6 minus the $2. So the cost of coffee is 4 and the donuts are 2. That's an expensive donut. Okay. Perimeter and area. We never forget about that. Okay, remember, perimeter is adding all the way around. Okay, so if this is 3x plus 5, we can assume this is 3x plus 5. If this is x, we can assume this is x. So 3x plus 5, 3x plus 5 plus x is going to give me perimeter. So let's write that. So we have 3x plus 5, 3x plus 5, x, and x. Notice I put my like things together. So 5 plus 5 is 10. 3x plus 3x is 6x, plus 1 more is 7x, plus 1 more is 8x. So I have 8x plus 10. That's my perimeter, guys. Don't try to make that a number. It's just 8x plus 10, because I was never told what x was. If I was told what x was, then I'd come in here and say 8 times whatever it was plus 10. But I'm not told, so that's my answer. A lot of people want to keep going. Okay, what is the area? Let's go back and rewrite my rectangle. It was 3x plus 5x. Well, remember area, like if I have a rectangle that is 5 by 3, how would you get it? You would say length times width. You'd say 5 times 3 is 15. So I've got to say 3x plus 5 times x. It's easier to write it this way. Still means the same thing, x times 3x plus 5. That would be accepted, and that could be the answer. And I think on the GED, that's exactly what they want you to do, and stop there, and this would be the area, x, 3x plus 5. However, there is one more option. It could be you could go ahead and distribute the x. So what I mean by that is also this is an understood one. 1 times 3 is 3, x times x squared. So the x multiplied to the 3x, now it has to multiply to the 5. 5 times x is 5x. This is another way. Will the GED ever give you both ways? No. Which way do I think the GED is going to give it to you? Is this way right there. Okay? All right. A couple more, guys. Oh, hey, the key word today is algebra. All right. This is more what I like. If x squared is 25, then solve for f times x minus 3. Okay, if x squared is 25, first off, what is x? Well, remember, x squared means what times what gives me 25, where the numbers are the same. So 5. How about you finish the problem, and I'll see you back here in a second. Press pause. Okay, hopefully you solved the problem and you said 4, and wherever there's an x, you put a 5. So 5 minus 3. 5 minus 3, I solve inside parentheses, is 2. 4 times 2 is 8, and that's my final answer. Now, I could do these problems all day. The stuff we just did before, ugh. Okay, the number of the dogs in the kennel is 3 more than 1/5 the number of cats. Which of the following expressions describes the number of dogs in kennels? Well, I didn't give you any examples. I'm sorry. I should just say, what is the expression? Okay, press pause, give it a shot. Remember, it's an expression, so it's going to look more like something like this, okay? I'll see you back here in a minute. All right, so the number of dogs in the kennel is 3 more, so it's 3 more than 1/5 the number of cats. So I have this, 1/5 x plus 3, and that's it. And it really helps as you read, like when I saw more, I put a plus, 3 more plus 3. It really helps to do that as you read along. Okay. Let's review slope for a minute. Let's say, we haven't done this in a while, and this kind of fits in this section here too. Let's say that I'm giving these 2 points and I'm asked what the slope is. Remember, my formula is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Okay, we haven't done this since like the first week, so we can't forget this. Okay, remember we call this x, we call this y. We call this x, we call this y. We call this group 1, group 2. And now I plug into my formula. So y2 is 1 minus, because it's my formula, y1. y1 is 4 all over x2. x2 is 2 minus x1 is 3. 1 minus 4, I have 1, I owe you 4, I'm 3 short. 2 minus 3 is -1. -3 over -1 is just 3. Okay, press pause and you try this one. Okay, I didn't bring a drink of water and I have a feeling I'm going to cough through this last question. Let's see if I can make it. First thing you should do is write the formula. Next thing you should do is label. And now I'm ready to plug in. y2 is 3 minus, minus is my formula. y1 is a -1, so it's minus a -1. x2 is -2 minus 4. Okay, 2 negatives side by side, cross, cross. 3 plus 1 is 4. -2 minus 4 is -6. I owe 2 and I owe 4, so I owe 6. These both can be divided by 2, which gives me 2/3. 1 negative means it's negative. Up here, I had 2 negatives, which means it's positive. Remember back in my class, 2 negatives, everybody has a dance partner. 1 negative, someone showed up without a dance partner and is all alone. Okay, really quick. If you see this today on the quiz, that means 3 squared, okay? That means x to the 3rd. So if you see that little arrow pointing up and something after it, that's what this means. If you see that, it really means this, okay? But in the program, I can't write this, and I can't write it this way. So just a heads up. Okay, have a great day. I'm sorry I'm dying here, so I got to get out of here and get a drink. Talk to you soon. Bye.